But Dollar looked so happy, so sure. She said he'd do it at Wow Beach, the one near the bridge, and she wanted me to come with her. Just moral support, she said. And to take pictures. You'll be my witness. That night I lay awake again, staring at the fan spinning slowly, thinking about that word, proposal. I wondered if maybe Dollar lived in a different world from mine, one where everything happened faster and brighter. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I couldn't say no. That was how it always was with her. She made the world sound too interesting to miss. By the end of that week, I had already forgotten about home, about the quiet hills and the smell of cow dung after rain. Lakeside had its own rhythm, matetas honking, street vendors shouting, loud laughter from open windows. Aunt Millie's night shifts meant she was mostly away, and I became more and more part of Dollar's world. Sometimes I caught myself worrying about my sisters. Noni had made friends with the kids next door and spent her days playing, while Tisa stayed indoors reading the novels we brought from home. They were fine. But I felt myself changing, like something in me was stretching, curious, reckless even. It felt good to be seen. Dollar saw me. The town saw me. Even the boys who called out from the corners saw me. And I liked it. Maybe that's why I didn't notice how far I was already drifting. That morning started slow, one of those December mornings when even the air feels lazy. The sun came in thin golden slices through the curtain, warming my arm before I even opened my eyes. I could hear the laughter of my sisters outside, the clattering of dishes from Aunt Millie's kitchen, and Dollar's voice floating from the gate, bright as always. She didn't even knock properly, just that half-tap she did with her nails on the metal, singing out my name like a warning, Bardi. When I stepped outside, she was already glowing. Lip gloss. Faux locks tied up high. A short floral dress that looked like it belonged in a music video. She grinned like someone who knew something good was about to happen. Guess what, she said, before I could even say hi. But she didn't wait for me to guess. She dropped the news like it was gossip too hot to hold. Brian's gonna propose today. At first, I laughed because I thought she was joking. Propose? We were still in high school. I was in Form 3. She was barely in Form 2. What kind of person talked about proposals before finishing school fees? But the way she said it, the sparkle in her eyes, it was serious. He said he's tired of playing games. He wants to make it official before the year ends, she said. She leaned against the wall, smiling into her phone as messages poured in, thumbs moving fast. I just stood there, pretending to be calm while my heart tried to understand how someone my age could already have a boy ready to propose. By noon, she'd convinced me to go with her. Not because I wanted to see a proposal, but because she asked in that way she knew I couldn't say no to. Just come, Bardi. You'll be my witness. You'll see how these things go. So we dressed up, not for the beach, not really. More like for an occasion we didn't fully understand. I borrowed Aunt Millie's white sandals, the ones she only wore to church. Dollar wore a turquoise off-shoulder top, tiny denim shorts, and perfume that could stop traffic. We sneaked out just after 4. The sun was already softening, the kind that paints everything gold and makes every street look like a memory. We walked to the stage, giggling, eating roadside crisps, our sandals kicking up little clouds of dust. Dollar's phone never stopped ringing. The tuk-tuk ride to Wow Beach was noisy and fast, the air whipping through our hair, the smell of salt getting stronger the closer we got. I remember thinking, this is what freedom smells like. The beach was half empty when we got there, the sky turning orange. People were packing up their stalls, kids were running into the last waves. We found a quiet spot under a leaning coconut tree and waited. Dollar kept calling him Brian. Each time he said he was almost there. Almost. Almost. After an hour, her tone changed. She stopped laughing between calls. The last time she spoke to him, her voice went quiet, a mix of frustration and disbelief. He says he's still busy. Something came up. We sat there, staring at the horizon, our feet buried in the warm sand. The water shimmered like broken glass. For a moment, she went completely silent. I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. By 7, the vendors had gone. The security guards started walking around, telling people to leave because it was a public beach. Dola looked around like someone who'd misplaced more than just time. Don't worry, she said, forcing a smile. Moha will come pick us. He's got his bike. I didn't even ask who Moha was. I just nodded. We sat there as darkness gathered. The streetlights along the shore came on one by one, thin halos through the evening mist. The sound of the waves mixed with the hum of faraway music and laughter. When Moha finally called, she jumped up like a light had switched back on inside her. They're on the way, she said. Him and Tony. The relief in her voice made me smile, even though my stomach was tightening. The bikes arrived fast, 2 of them, engines humming low like growling animals. Moha was tall, brown-skinned, wearing a denim jacket and a silver chain that glinted when he smiled. Tony, the one who liked me apparently, was quieter, with kind eyes that made him seem older than he was. Dola climbed behind Moha without hesitation, her arms around his waist, laughing already. Tony handed me a helmet. Don't worry, I'll take you home after, he said. His voice was calm, too calm. I nodded and got on. The road from the beach wound through dimly lit streets, the air cold and sharp now. The wind pulled at my dress. Dola and Moha rode ahead, laughter trailing behind them like confetti. We stopped once, the police. 2 officers flagged us down near the roundabout. I froze. Tony stopped the bike, smiled politely, answered their questions. They said something about papers and noise complaints and riding too fast. Their tone made it clear it wasn't about the bike. It was about the money. Tony sighed, slid out a note from his pocket, handed it over. The officer smirked, waved us through. When we finally reached Life Club, it was already past 9. The building looked alive, blue light spilling from the top floor, music pulsing through the air like a heartbeat. Dola turned, grinning, then shouted over the noise, "Welcome to life." We took the lift to the 10th floor. The guys paid at the entrance. Dola whispered, "Just act like you're 18. I nodded, heart pounding. Inside, the lights were low and colored. The bass was heavy enough to feel in your ribs. People moved like shadows, laughing, dancing, clinking glasses. I'd never seen anything like it. Tony leaned close and offered me a drink. I shook my head at first, then took a sip just to see. It tasted bitter, metallic. He smiled like I'd passed a test. Dola was already dancing, her laughter louder than the music. I tried to join, but something in me couldn't let go. My mind was on my sisters, on Aunt Millie's shift, on the lie I'd told her that I'd be asleep by 10. When I checked the phone, it was already 9:40. I told them I needed to leave soon. Just 1 more hour, Dola said, her eyes glassy with excitement. I agreed. 1 more hour. But 1 turned into 2. The music got louder, the lights softer. I couldn't feel my feet anymore. I just knew I needed to go home. I walked to the door, trying not to panic. Tony followed, asking me to wait. "Don't go alone," he said. "Let me drop you." Before I could reply, the whole room seemed to shift, shouts, quick footsteps. Someone yelled, "Police."